Hello everyone, welcome back to another very exciting class, I should say. Today we're gonna take a look on some simple special effects that we've developed while working on our sci-fi short film, Something for Nothing. I'm gonna mostly talk about the way to comp them, to make them work with the environment. I'm Kirill Pleshakov, producer and visual effects supervisor, and I'm a skillful compositing artist and CG generalist. And if you want a proof of that, you can watch my show reels or you can watch my effects PhD courses. So let's dive in to making of this sci-fi burning kind of special effects. So this police badge materialization will be the first shot we're gonna take a look on, and there will be two shots in this class. The another one will be about punching the hole in this hoodie of the character that does this badge materialization and talks too much about his supernatural abilities to copy the dollars, not only the police badges but any kind of object he can get his fingers on. So when you will have some supernatural compositing abilities after watching this YouTube channel, never talk about them too much. That's what will happen to you then. And if you want the project files, as always, they are on my Patreon, and you can open the scripts and follow along with all the material included. So yeah, links to Patreon are in the description of this class. So let's get started with the first shot, this one. I will turn on the large node graph. As always, I'm more of a technical kind of artist. I'd like to work without seeing what I'm doing. So here we got the source footage, and this is a little bit messy script because time was running out and I had to do this really quick. So we will get to actual compositing of the special effects, and I will also talk about shooting of them and how can this be achieved with simple steel wire wool. That's what the muggles call it, whatever. But we are gonna break down this shot step by step, so let's turn off the expression arrows, hitting Alt-E. And let's start from the start. So this is the reduce noise, which is degraining the footage before we work with it. And the reason why I'm taking the source for keying and making some maps here is because it turned out to be a little bit detailed, and I happened to need it here where I was putting some veins under the fingers where I wanted them to multiply the light that was coming from under his fingers when he was like reading the information from the source badge to make a copy of it. So overall this is just a very complex mask that is used to create this lighting of his fingers when he's touching the source badge. So it consists out of some multiplication of the source footage, which comes from here, just to get some sharpness out of it to use it with the mask. And then I'm using this texture to include some internal obstructions of the fingers that will like obscure the light when it will come out of them. And here are just the simple masks of the, well, I guess light, right? And here are the fingers masks. This is just a rotoscope of the fingers made for exact moment when he's touching the source badge. And then it all comes together here, and the rotoscope of the fingers is not only used for this mask. So it all comes together here, and we get this nice glowing fingers that are plussed on top of our composite with some glow, like that. Looks cool, right? So let's go step by step here. Finger 1, finger 2, finger 3. That's the fingers with already multiplied maps here. So we also have some noise that is used almost everywhere just to simulate the lighting itself that comes out of these fingers. So yeah, that's what these masks are for. They are for masking of this noise. And this is like the main noise that is like used with this map of the actual veins. I think this is too large. I shouldn't change anything in composite, that is already done, because it works. And probably I did understand why when I was doing this. So plussing all this onto my degrained footage here. One thing I almost forgotten to tell you about this hand, which you can see at the very beginning of this shot. Maybe you can't even see it because it's not anywhere in my showreel and you never saw it. It's a hand of another actor rotoscoped and put. The other hand wasn't seen, but director wanted some hand in motion blur to be removed from the frame. The hand of this actor, it helped to edit things, and this was done just by taking the rotoscope of this hand, which director did in Photoshop. Every time when somebody does some part of the work in the concept stage and in the references stage, I always take it and use it in the compositing stage. So I just promoted it, and with transformation I moved it away from the frame in the beginning of the frame. So that's it. That's about this nose here. That's what they do. Alright, next, moving on, we have some 3D render here that I've done in 3ds Max, and I will show you this as well. So this is just a model of this police badge that we already had because we were doing the 3D printing of it to create these actual models that you see here, but they were actually not 3D printed because they were not looking good enough, and we had to figure out another way to get the real badges. So that's how the rendering looks like. It's just the light in the places where the fingers are, and the way I did this is I took like a guy, put his hand on the badge, and put the badge on the table, and looked through the camera and layouted this hand on the badge according to the actual footage. I think I can load it here by going into the viewport background. Just take some frame with the hand on it. We can just take this thing here, apply to all views, alright, and animate the background here. Yeah, here we go. So that's how I did this. I looked with the footage on the background and layouted the hand the same way. This is the auto rig from Mixamo. Very fast, simple and easy. Free way to rig humanoids, so simple there's nothing to teach here about. Very easily to be rigged. I just put the V-ray lights here where the fingers are and rendered this plain pass by lighting this badge that we have here. Just a very simple material for compositing. I'm more of a compositor than 3D artist. Just some reflections with noise, and here we go. Well, yeah, render it out, grid warped it, transformed it till it matches the real badge, cut it with the mask of the fingers. So yeah, let's see where the rotopaint is. A little bit rotopaint here where it was not matched at all, where it had to be matched with rotopaint, and here's our lighting. So this is also the pass of the table lighting, and the table lighting comes from the same rendering. It's just gotten off from here, yeah, to be comped separately like that. So the table actually has the same material, if I'm correct. Yeah, and the badge has this material. So also some reflections, glossiness, very simple. Until I get just some highlights like that, what I like, and plussed it over. Yeah, and it, like, you see, it doesn't match somewhere at all, but that doesn't matter. You never knew that there were some imperfections in its matching. Yeah, it was quite hard to match the lens of this camera here. Alright, what's next? Yeah, looks like this is some kind of lightness map that is being used here to cut the 3D render of the lighting to make it more comped into environment here with the stencil mode, and then it is being glossed here. So just a strange layout of nodes. Should be more like that, maybe. Yeah, let's move on. Alright, so also some grade with animation, so when he's touching it, the grade is pushing the gain up and lighting everything here. The same thing happens here with the same grade before the glows for these fingers. Very simple. And now we are hitting the most hard and unprized part of the work. Guess what it is? The cleanup, of course. When you're trying to remove the object from the background that changes, you have to animate everything that changes there, in this case shadows. So we do this with grade nodes and masks. Animating the shadow of this hand. This is not so hard as other such cleanups that I've done, but this can be pretty annoying when you are working on it for a long time. So all these grades working together here with animated masks and sometimes with animated grade nodes, changing the intensity of the background in the place where there is no more badge that was taken out of there. So yeah, that's the cleanup. Backdrop. Cleanup. There's masks for every shadow and reflection that is moving there to recreate them to make this spot look natural. That's all I can say about it, but I never can say enough. Right. So I'm restoring the back finger here, which is behind the badge, because we are putting the badge next, and after we are done with the badge we are restoring the foreground fingers here. And this is also not so simply as rotoscoping it out and overing there, because it is behind the badge. This is why to recreate this back finger there I took this one, rotopainted it to change it, and put it there in the place of this thicker finger. Like that. Alright, moving on. And here we go. Here is our pass of this magic wool, which is the secret of quick special effects of our company. And I'm gonna reveal it to you. I want every single friend of yours to be subscribed for this channel, because this took a long time to figure out. So you take this steel wire wool, you buy like 4 or 3 kinds of it. There's different kinds of it depending on the thickness, and you put it on fire. That's basically it. Alright, just kidding, that's not it. You put it on fire for about 2 years, and then you figure out how to properly film it and properly make the models for it to match the perspective and things, because it is not enough to just make the same badge size model and put the wool on it. You have to change the size of it. So I can talk like for a really long time about it. If you'd like me to talk about these things, you can write the comments below, because I'm not sure if you like to hear about special effects from me. So I'll go brief now on this exact effect here, and if you'd like more of such content, please tell me in the comments. I read them all. If you'd like to hear about filming miniatures or filming effects on camera, please tell me. So about this effect, this badge that you see here on some other table is like 5 or 6 times larger than the original one, because when you do a larger models which you wrap with this thing, you will get much more detailed dots that are burning on it. You can get much more of them, and this will make the special effects a lot sharper. Of course, you have to consider the distance of the camera to object and lens. You have to fake them and change them. So this is basically it. And when you will try to film yourself something similar, you should try experimenting a lot with the sizes and with the type of wool you are using. And then you take this footage, you retime it, because they are moving very slowly. So you make it faster, a lot faster, and they are living a lot faster now. Then I color correct them and put them together, so a couple passes of them. Then I'm taking some kind of edge detect mask that I'm merging with them here, and then I'm plussing them together. So that's basically it. I said it will be simple and stunning. That's how it is. These footages you can also find on my Patreon. Maybe I will pre-comp them here because they weight really much and they have really long and comprehensive name of this Blackmagic cinema cameras. Yeah, they weight like really much. I should pre-comp them after retime. I will do this for the project files. Alright, moving on. So here we got the time echo that is echoing them, and here's the layer coming out that contains them, burning sparks and edges. Yeah, and it is really slow here. Time echo is always really slow, so I will fire up the pre-comp. You should render it out here if you want to play it back. So it just echoes the sparks like that until they cover the whole thing to use this pass as a mask for revealing the actual badge under the lighting effects. Now let's see how it looks like now. So here it is, partly revealed on the frame 347. I'm watching it right now. So here we go. It reveals as the time echo pass is getting more filled like that, and then it just is being dissolved with the source footage here when it is almost fully revealed. Alright, moving on. And here comes our passes. From here they were mapped into the layers here to be contained in this stream to be easily taken out of here. The passes of burning sparks. So there's unretimed versions and retimed versions. They are all being just plussed on top here, on top of fingers and everything that is being revealed with this time echo clean plate here, with some animated grade nodes and filter road nodes with Gaussian filter. So this just creates some organic effect of fading out or fading in. You can try it for yourself. So sometimes it works great, sometimes not. Just animate a couple of keyframes here just to make it appear more softly. Yeah. And it's being the glow is done like just a blur node. You can use the blur node to create fast glow. And well, yeah. Then the intensity of the glow, which is used like light pass here, is being controlled by the mask of the source denoised footage to improve the interaction of it with the surface of everything, the environment. Alright, what's here? And here comes our fingers that have a little light wrap around them done with some third-party plugin, but this can be done with any plugin actually. Yeah, so just a plain vanilla rotoscope of the fingers. Fingers restored. Moving on. Here we have some more passes of Blackmagic camera. So this is just an old Blackmagic camera that we used, so you can use almost anything. The best camera that you have, of course. Try filming in RAW. Always try filming in RAW. So this is the hands of the director, Alexei Talizin. He's putting his iPhone under the fingers and just filming some light distortion by moving some kind of piece of transparent plastic in front of his flashlight. And speaking of Alexei Talizin, let's say some credits about him. Alright, where he is, where do I have him? Let's see. So this is our short film, and this is the director of it. So it doesn't have much IMDb records because Alexei Talizin mostly works locally in Russia, but believe me, he's like a perfect professional who loves what he does, and eventually you will hear about him someday. So I got kinda slow internet now, so can't show you everything for now, but that's why I can focus on making the class, right? So another pass of the same hand of the director is holding some kind of piece of the same wool, just not layouted on the form of the model because he just wanted to capture the reflections on the ring. And I was able to key this out. I said to put the black cloth, so I was able to add this bioluminosity onto the ring of the actor. Let's see how it looks like. So if we look into the final render, find the moment when this all is happening here. Here we go. There's this light I'm talking about that is happening on the ring. That's where I added it on it. And then everything is fading out with the pass of the fingers that I've also already talked about. The light on the fingers, I mean. This one. Alright, we are almost done with this shot. There's one more pass left. Just some more pass of the same fingers added there for a little irregularity, you know. And then it's the composite is being switched with the source footage to not render all this passes and merge nodes here, because they are not needed anymore when the police badge is already revealed. And then the grain is being plused back, subtracted from the source footage with the denoised footage. The grain is plused back here. And then we crop everything and render to XRs. I'm gonna take a break and talk about the next shot. See you in a moment. So here we are, next shot. So in this shot the character is getting killed for talking too much, and we see the same effects on his hoodie, which is actually not ripped apart in the source. We are ripping apart it on the compositing stage, and I will show you how as well. So we have the degraining here as always, then I'm mapping it to a separate channel to always be able to take it out, not throwing the arrow at very top of my script. And then I'm using it basically for everything. So that's what I did. I set the decorators to do this great makeup on his hoodie, rip apart a hoodie. We had like 3 such hoodies for him, and one of them we ripped apart. And then I just captured the raw image file on the Canon still frame camera, so that this part of it was aligned with the original one using the difference blending mode here on the reference frame, and then tracked with the smart vectors and corner pins. So I'm cleaning it up here a little. Yeah, this thing is not needed because I'm rotoscoping and putting it on top as it moves, not the same way as the surface that I'm tracking. Then I'm applying some glow, I guess, from this footage of fire sparks, which are all being merged here on top of this still frame before it is being tracked. So let's see where we can see something. Maybe global frame range will work better. Yeah, so I have a lot of masks here that kind of separate the depth of this thing, and with masks I can use different layers of the same footage, making it look like it is moving on the different depth of the hole, and this way adding more depth to it. And here I'm plussing them together with plus mode and max mode. Alright, let's see what kind of crack alpha we have here. Yeah, that's just the alpha of this changed part of the hoodie with which I'm promoting everything I'm putting on top of the original hoodie, which is not ripped apart right here. Here we go, the masks that are separating this this crack for different layers, and I have different layers of this footage here, which is just a burning plane, which I'm using here 3 times with different transformations, rotating it in this case, and this way making it different, and putting it on the different depth of the crack, like that. Alright, what we have here, shadow, that's the shadow of this hole, the actual shadow. To comp this ripped apart thing here, the shadow is rotoscoped out here and comped on top of the original hoodie. Here I'm corner pinning it to the place where I want it to be, so I just took like a merge node with difference blending mode, and to check it out, I'm gonna just copy this nose from here and apply it to this part. Yeah, after the transformation here. So you see it fully matches the actual plate. So maybe I can do this with the over mode. Yeah, I can turn on and off the mix. It is just matched on this frame in the place where it is needed, and then this thing is rotoscoped on top. Yeah, that's how it was matched. Alright, then it goes into the vector distort node, part of it goes into the corner pin node out of Mocha, and part of it goes into the vector distort node. So it's merged together here. The corner pin node is moving this part of the footage, the actual inner crack. I just didn't want to distort it with the vector distort the same way I distorted the Hoodie, and this kind of setup of merging the Mocha track and the track of the smart vectors worked perfectly. I think I'd better explain it. So smart vectors track the optical flow of the footage, and then it outputs it to the separate layers, which are perfectly understood by the vector distortion node, which you can use to track things with this optical flow. Very useful to track distortion and stuff. So if you want a more specific tutorial about it, I can do a very deep tutorials about tools. I think I have a lot of experience with them. Write all your requests, I read them all. So here they are merged together, the Mocha track and the vector distort track, and it all merges together here with just some footage of a spark. So I should look through the retime to see it. Yeah, just a simple spark. I believe this is from Action Visual Effects, but you can film it for yourself. It is very simple. Yeah, even with the same wool you can like throw them and film them. And here it is being put together like that. So this is the pre-comp, and the actual whole is baked in here. So I felt like not liking this greenish color of these guys, so I baked it in here, and I did the despill of the whole pre-comp, despilling them and the green screen. So the despill I do is with key light, extracting all the green color here. Then I'm desaturating it and plussing it back. No third-party tools needed. Amazing quality. So then we do keying, but before we do keying, we are fixing my mistake. Because this is an independent short film, and I was a supervisor of all the scenes of it. So the thing I've done wrong this time was that the actual scene was happening at night. Like the characters meet in the diner at night. But I brightened up the green screen as it was a day. Well, it was not enough of the darkness in the green screen to properly key everything out, and in the edges you can definitely see the light coming out of there. That's a big mistake. Every time you are filming something with green screen, you should light the green screen the same intensity as your background. Never do otherwise. If you will be afraid of things not being keyed out, try to get a good saturation out of it, like a great blue tint of the blue screen. You know, blue screen works for night a little bit better in my opinion. And dim it down, make it the same intensity, well, almost the same intensity as your background. If you have night, you can even put the black screen there. So sometimes the director will be fine with black screen for the night outside of the diner. But as I've put a chroma key there, so always learn on your mistakes by fixing them. I had to fix all these mistakes in every shot, dimming them down with the grade nodes and color lookups and stuff. So this is what I had to do. A lot of man hours, a lot of life drained out of me in exchange of this experience. So when you feel like the life is being drained out of you, usually you get experience. Alright, so now we are
multiplying the background back there, and the background consists out of the photo of this truck mirrored as it stands like that in front of the background. And the background, which is actual render from Houdini, that I've already shown to you in the desert scene class, and I've thrown the 3D project files there as well. You can download them from my Patreon. So I'm multiplying them together here and just merging them together, putting them together here in my way. And then I'm putting here the drizzles, which help me to composite the classes. Really helps. So, because there's a lot of rain there behind the glass, and it really helped to put everything together. And then I'm plussing back the grain. I remember me using this mask. For some reason I didn't like how the grain looked like here, but actually I could just roto paint it here and change it here for it to work better, but I didn't do this back then. Yeah, that's it guys. Project files on Patreon as always. My name is Kirill Pleshakov. If you want me to do some specific tutorials, please write about it in the comments. I really want to know what kind of audience I have, because I just started my YouTube channel, and there's also some smoke coming out of this hole, you see? Smoke footage there, put in somewhere on top of it. Here it is, smoke tube. That's one of my stock footages. I have my own stock footage pack, which is mine for the reasons that I work much, guys. This is the reason why I have content to share with you. This is the reason why I have knowledge to share with you, and the rights for the content to share with you. By the way, guys, I just made the fundamental analysis of my channel analytics, and I found something wrong there. It says me that you don't love me. So the conclusion I came to is I want all your friends to be subscribed to this channel, and then I will do the next class. Until then, never stop learning, never stop evolving. Goodbye. Have a nice day.